What is going on, everybody? I am your man T-Bell, and welcome back to another Man Training Podcast episode. Good job, Tyler. You're doing good so far. Don't get lazy. Don't get procrastinative. Just keep going with the podcast, because you got people, as Joyce said, you got people that want to support you, but you got to keep doing it in order for them to support you. So I'm gonna keep doing the best I can. I got 2 episodes recorded so far. I got 2 in the chamber. So we gonna keep going as best as we can, at least until no excuses. We gonna keep going best as we know how. Okay. So thank you for joining me back on the Man Trainer Podcast. Again, like I said, I am your man T-Bell, and today I'm gonna kind of backtrack a little bit. A lot of people want to know how this man training thing came about. For those of you who don't know my dad, back up a little bit. Okay. For those of you who don't know my dad, he is the founder, I guess you could say, of Man Training. So I guess you could say this is my tribute while he's alive to him for establishing Man Training. So I'm going to take you back to probably the first story that kind of introduced me into this man training journey, right? Growing up, my dad HB, Hyman Bell, Deacon Bell, Hyman, whatever you want to call him. He would turn anything he had his hands on that you may have been involved in, he would turn it into a lesson. I mean, anything. You would be cooking some eggs. Oh, well, if you use a different pan, make sure you use butter instead of the spray oil. You get a little, it stick a little less. Anything you can think of that he would see you doing that he think you would be able to do better, he would turn it into a lesson. Everything. I remember a quick story. One day, this is not the topic, what I'm going to tell you the story about, but one quick story. One day when I did my movie, A Good Thing, it's on my YouTube page, A Good Thing on Rocky Hills Media, short film I did, and we finished filming, had to edit it, and he was just like, what do you think about it? I was just like, it's okay, man, but the lighting ain't the best, and I don't have the best sound. And he was just like, okay. So at the time when I was back when I was in community college, so all this story and the story I'm gonna tell you about for this episode is kind of surrounded around this time frame when I was like between 21 and 23, somewhere in that area. And I said I didn't really like the finished product as much, so he said, okay. At the time, every morning before I would go, I was at Georgia Perimeter. Every morning before I would go to class, I would warm me up like 5 pieces of bacon. So one morning he came, and I was telling him this story. I was like, I don't really like how I looked and all that kind of yeah. So he took a plate, he took a paper plate, and he took a nice dining china type plate, right? He took one of my pieces of bacon. So I'm like, hold on, bro, you're gonna have to square up over this bacon. This is my first thing. So he was like, he took one piece of bacon. He took 2 pieces of my 5 bacon. 5 pieces of bacon. He took 2. Put 1 piece on the paper plate. And he put 1 piece on the china plate, and he put some like lettuce, and he designed it and all that kind of stuff. And he held them up. He was like, this is the paper plate with 1 piece of bacon on it, and this is the china plate with the lettuce and all of that kind of stuff. He was like, what's the difference? I was like, he didn't say what's the difference. He said, if I presented both of these to you, which one would you take, or which one you think looks better? I was like, bro, in my mind, I'm like, bro, this is my bacon, so I'm gonna take both pieces, so it don't even matter. But I was like, I would take the one in the china plate with the lettuce around it. He was like, but it's the same thing. I was like, what you mean? He was like, I am presenting to you the same product. I'm just presenting it differently. So he was like, it doesn't matter which product you choose or how it's presented. No, he said it doesn't matter what you like the outcome of the finished product. It's just how you present it is what really matters, because I can give you this piece of bacon, but it's the exact same thing. It's just how you present it. So he said you could take your product, even though somebody else might do the exact same thing, but how are you going to present it to others? I was like, okay, big dog, give me my bacon, but I see your point. And that probably was one of the things that stood out most back when I was growing up, my dad would, like I said, turn everything into a lesson. But moral of that small story was the bacon, the same thing, two same pieces of bacon. One just was presented better than the other. So he was basically saying, take your product and just present it as best as you can, even if you don't think it's the best. Just present it to the point where you'll be happy with it, and you can present it to the world. Then they'll be, others might even not even think the way you see it, but somebody will be impressed by the way you present it and the pride that you take in it, no matter, the equipment or whatever you got. So just take whatever you have and present it. It might be something small, big, but present it to a way where you take pride in what you're doing. Okay, so I guess you could say that was my warm-up story. So the main story I want to talk about is the first thing that introduced me into this whole man training thing, which is, if you've heard my dad speak about man training, it's the sink story, right? And what also led me to come back to this, I think Joy is now excited that I'm finally doing this podcast. So she's pouring ideas into me. She always reminds me of, you want to do this, or you should do it this way. Or one thing that, she's pouring into me to help me kind of get this thing going. And she's like very supportive of, get rid of the kids so you can do your podcast. Let me know so we can make sure you get your podcast. So if you don't know, the sink story, like I said, happened between my Georgia Perimeter days around ages 21 to 23, right? The sink story it was pivotal in my man training career. When I was at Georgia Perimeter, I was still staying with my parents, and I had my own bathroom, and it was a 2-sink bathroom. So it was an older home, but it was 2 sinks in my bathroom, right? So one sink, which my brother used to use, I was using that for a while, and then for some reason, I think the holes from the actual sink into the wall to the wall water line, it was an easier fix. I didn't think about it, but the holes started to leak, so we cut the water off on both the hot and the cold. Both the lines started to leak. So then I switched to the other sink in the bathroom, and then I was 21 because this all went on for like 2 years. So then I switched to the other sink. Same thing. The actual faucet started to leak. So I guess it was cracked. So we cut the water off on the hot and cold on the other faucet. So I'm painting a picture. Both faucets, sink faucets in the bathroom that I was using at the time. Now, mind you, their house has 3.5 bathrooms, right? So I was using the sink faucet for a little bit, and then both sinks got cut off because I wasn't interested in replacing nothing or fixing nothing. So cut them both off. So I said, okay, I don't feel like going all the way to the basement. My parents ain't gonna let me use their bathroom, so I still gotta take a shower. So you know what? Since I'm already here, why don't I just use the tub faucet, right? To brush my teeth and wash my hands after I use the bathroom, all that kind of stuff, right? I did this, like I said, for about 2.5 years. So every time my parents would walk past me in the bathroom, brushing my teeth, I'm bent over in the tub, brushing my teeth, washing my face, or washing my hands, bent over. Like I said, every time I need to use some type of sinking water outside of a shower, I'm bent over in the tub doing what I need to do, right? So one day, my dad was just like, why don't you just replace the faucets in the sink? And then my mom would be like, if you want to keep bending over, my mom would be like, if you want to keep bending over, you're going to hurt your back like that. My dad was like, why don't you just replace the sink faucets? I was like, well, the tub working cool. It's doing what I need to do. I'm young, so bending over at that time, in the sink and in the tub, it wasn't no problem. So I wasn't tripping. So I did that for the longest. Until one day, after probably about 3 years of my mom being in my ear about, my dad says he told my mom, don't let him use no other bathroom. I don't know if this is really what they were talking about, but he said he told her, don't let me use no other bathroom in the house. Like I said, it was four bathrooms I could have used. I could have went downstairs to brush my teeth. He was like, nope, you want to use a bathroom? That's yours right there. So I was like, bro, okay. So one day, like I said, after about 2 years of bending over in the tub, right, I would be talking to myself like, okay, we're going to go ahead and get these faucets fixed. Faucets ain't expensive. I bought the cheapest ones. So I was in Home Depot. I was like, oh, man, this faucet. I went to Home Depot. I was like, man, this faucet will look cool. Yeah, this faucet cool. Oh, no, this faucet a little more expensive. So then, when I finally made the decision, I bought the faucets. I might have spent like $36. So they might have been like $15, $14 a piece. Real cheap, inexpensive, basic faucets. Because I just wanted to be able to brush my teeth. So I was like, all right, cool. So when I bought the faucets, came home, what I thought I was, what in my mind I interpreted as, if I buy the faucets, my dad is going to install them in my bathroom, right? So I told myself, okay, bought the faucets. I sat them on my dad's counter with all his stuff and all his keys and blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. I sat them on his counter, left the receipt in there, left the bag in there, okay. Sat him on his counter, right? So 2 days went by. I'm like, maybe he didn't see the faucets. So I take the faucets out of the Home Depot bag, right? Set the receipt on top of the boxes, threw the bag away, and I positioned them. So I was like, maybe he didn't see him. He's been kind of busy lately. He's having a lot of appointments. So I'm going to position so the picture on the faucets, he'll see those. Okay? So I did that. I positioned them on the counter so when he come in, the first thing he sees is, bam, these 2 sinks I just bought. So I'm still bending over in the sink, brushing my teeth. In the tub, brushing my teeth. So then, like, 3 more days went by. So this is a week done passed by. So I was like, this tripping. I know he see these sinks that I spent $36 on his counter. And I know he saw him because he would set his keys on top of the box and put his phone on top of the box. So one day, this like the following week, I walked into the kitchen. I was like, he was sitting at the table on the computer. I was like, yeah, so I finally, and I'm turning the boxes around. I was like, so yeah, I finally bought these new sinks. What you think about them? And he was like, oh yeah, them real nice. Oh, can you get them off my counter? Your mama tripping, but I know you just bought them. Can you get them off my counters because they just taking up space? So I'm like, okay. In my mind, I told myself he want me to get them off the counter, take them to my bath. I got you, big dog. I peep game. Take them to my bathroom, and he want me to, just get him out the way until he get to it. Okay. Sat him in my bathroom. Another maybe 2 or 3 days goes by. The sinks, the faucets are still in my bathroom in the box. Ain't been touched. And then I said, like, I will still be looking at them when I go in there to brush my teeth in the tub. I'm like, okay, he moving kind of slow. He's supposed to be the install these things. I don't know nothing. The most at this time, the most I know about tools is like screwdriver, flathead, drill, maybe a few wrenches, but I don't know like no plumbing tools. That's beyond my scope of work. So I'm like, okay, bro. 2 weeks, for almost 2 weeks, done passed by. So my mom came. She was like, you done bought them faucets. You better do something with them instead of just moving them around in my house. And women, how they, yeah. So she was doing all this talking. You need to do something. Get it out the way. Install it. In my mind, I'm like, all right, bro. Dad, you take it this is what I told myself. I said, Dad, you taking too long, bro. I'm tired. Okay, at this time, I was like, okay, you don't want me to buy these sinks, but you don't want to install them? Fine. I'll do what you're supposed to do. That's what I told myself. He could care none, absolutely none. He wasn't thinking nothing about them sinks. I was like, bro, I'm going to do what you're supposed to be doing because I thought you was going to install the sinks in my bathroom so I wouldn't have to bend over my tub no more. But what I ended up doing was, okay, I knew he had the tools. So I went in his toolbox one day. I was like, bro, you take too long. I'm tired of waiting on you. So what I did was I went in the toolbox, found the right tools. This Joy texting me. Hold on. And I'm not editing this because I'm tired. Okay, she want to go. Okay. I'm not editing this because I'm tired of doing all that. So, got the tools, right? When I got the tools, Went upstairs, and it was a bunch of unnecessary tools. I just grabbed the whole toolbox at that point. So I got the lines unhooked, and then like I said, the house is a little older. So can you imagine like the years that the putty and all that has been sitting there and like dirt and it was a bunch of gunk just built up. So it's not just get under there, unscrew it, install a new one. It was like I had to chip away at all the putty and dirt and the dried up just all that nasty stuff under there that comes with plumbing, right? So as I'm under there, kind of just cleaning everything up before I even get anything taken off. Man, I'm under there, all the putty and all that, all the debris and all that falling in my mouth and in my nose. I'm breathing all that junk in, and this is probably one of the first times I got mad with my dad. As I'm under there under the sink, it was a very small space, so I'm like under there like this, trying to unscrew and unhook the stuff, and all the stuff falling on my face. My dad, I will never forget this. He had a big blue bowl with some chili, I think he had in it, or some stew, something. He had something in that big blue bowl. Had a big hoodie on, big blue hoodie. I remember this, and I'm still mad about it because I can remember this. As I'm under there, he come by. He had his little wave cap on. He was eating cereal, Raisin Bran. He was like, As I'm falling, I'm coughing, all the stuff. He was like, "You all right?" No, I ain't all right. You see me struggling like I'm all bent up in here. I'm just trying to untie this stuff. And he just like, "All right, you good? All right, cool. It's like, okay, bro, get on now. Go on now. Finish your cereal, bro. If you ain't going to help me, go on about your business, bro." So as I'm under there, I finally get one side unhooked and all that kind of stuff, all right? So I'm proud. I was like, okay. Got the sink done, got it down. I'm cleaning up a little bit. Got the first one installed, right? Got the pipes and everything installed. Got the sink stopper installed. Hooked up my new hoses to the wall and to the faucet. All right. Cut the first sink on. All right, bet. Leaking a little bit. Cut the water back off. Tighten it up a little bit. First sink side, done. We cool. Oh, your boy in the house now. I don't need you, Hyman Bell. I'm the man. I can do this by myself. Even though I'm using your tools, this is mine. This is my bathroom, right? So I got the first sink installed, first faucet installed. Went to the other side because it's a dual vanity. Went to the other sink. At this point, I was tired. I done got dirt and all this in my eyes, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this one, knock this one out real quick, and I'm be done. So then when I got under the second side, that one was a little more difficult. So what happened with that side is I took the hoses off. I took the the faucet out, put the new faucet in. I couldn't put the new drain pipe in because it was stuck and I didn't want to break it. So at that point, I was like, well, at least I got one working side. This side, my dad is renovating this bathroom. So that was like 8-9 years ago. That thing did not get fixed. The other faucet didn't get fixed. I was just like, man, forget this junk, man. I got one working side. That's all I need. The water run. This side, I got the faucet in. I was like, man, my parents ain't finna move out no time soon, man. Forget this side. So that side, up until like this year, that sink wasn't working. My dad was like, man, whatever, man. I'm gonna just replace it anyway. I was like, cool. I just know I had one working sink, faucet. That's all I need. I ain't have to bend over in the tub no more. So that is pretty much how that story went. But let me tell you, once I got that first sink faucet in and it was working right, you couldn't tell T-Bell nothing. I went on tearing up other stuff, trying to fix other stuff. It was at that point that I was like, okay, if nobody else is going to do it, I figure, okay, I'm confident enough to learn how to do it myself. Now, I will say this. I'm glad my dad, I don't know if he was intentionally not installing it. He said he was trying to let that man in me kick in to like make it happen to where I do it. So I know he took a bunch of hits from my mama because why don't you do it? Get it out of my way. I'm tired of looking at it. Like, that's my mama. But so I just want to tell my dad I appreciate the lesson. I appreciate you not taking the initiative to do it, even though I thought we had a deal. I was just like, I'm about to sink it. You put it in, not okay. I'm about to put it in. Okay. Well, I know when I got them tools, I was like, once I was done putting them things that sink in there, man, I just left the tools under the sink. I was like, well, it's working. If he wanted tools, he know to come find it. But that was, like I said, my first man training story that really kicked in. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't my first one that kicked in, but I had other moments, but that one probably stood out the most because that's when I learned, like I said, if nobody else is going to do it, you have to, one, get the right tools to do it. And you got to just make it up in your mind that you want to get it done because you can't just be waiting on everybody else to do it. So, like I said, Dad, thank you. I know all the guys at the BOB like hearing this story, so you can send them this video to hear my side of the story. But, that was definitely a funny lesson. But all the dads, I'll say, if you have a son and you want him to kind of kick in that man gear to get it done, you have to present them with an opportunity to be able to be a man. If you always step in, like parents, especially if you got boys as kids, you always want to step in and save your kids. How they gonna learn to fend for themselves? It's just like teaching your kids how to pump gas. If you always going to pump the gas, or like I see multiple videos on YouTube or Instagram or whatever where you tell your kids go pay for the gas and they don't know how to go pay for the gas. Like at an early age we was doing that. Go pay for the gas, cash, go pay for a debit card, like basic stuff that teaches your kids life skills. Like it's plenty of times, and I'm gonna tell more man training stories that I have, but there are plenty of opportunities. I'm specifically speaking on people with men or boys as children. You have to present them with opportunities to rise above the situation to get it done. Like it was a bunch of times when my dad would be like, I can do it anytime, but I want you to figure out how to do it. And then if you got questions, or I'll just let you feel your way through the dark until you figure it out. But had I not been presented with those opportunities, I probably wouldn't have the confidence I do today. Like even today in my marriage, Joy knows I'm going to try it before I call a plumber or a mechanic. Oh, the brakes need to be done? I ain't finna pay $150 to get my brakes replaced. I'll go buy the jack and do it myself if I can, unless I ain't got the time. But she knows I will try it out or try to figure it out, especially with YouTube. Man, in our other house, the furnace went out. Call a plumber. Don't you dare pick up that phone. I'm in there tinkering. You saw the videos on Facebook. I'm in there tinkering with the furnace, trying to light it. And I call my dad. I'm going to call Deacon Bell now. I'm like, hey, man, they're doing this and doing this and doing that. And I'm sure he get excited when I call him. But I just believe, and as I've seen, and I can ask my brother, he'll probably tell you the same thing, there are opportunities where you just have to sit back and let your children play it out in their mind. Let them figure it out. But if you always try and step in and be a parent, figure it out, tell them how it's done, they won't be able to critically think for themselves. And for men, they'll never have that. It'll never kick in if there's not an opportunity for it to kick in, if that makes sense. So yeah, if anything, I hope this story helps somebody, makes somebody laugh. It always makes me laugh because I know I love hearing that story, because people always laugh. It was like, why you ain't just go fix the sink? You bent over in the tub for 2 years? I was like, I was young then, so bending over in the tub, it ain't mean nothing to me. But I'm getting a little older, so it means more to be comfortable instead of just, instead of getting the sink fixed, I just bend over in the tub. But I can think more critically now instead of just saying, why you ain't just fix the sink? But yeah, if you don't hear nothing else in this video, for your boys as children, you have to present activities or things for them to where they have to rise to the occasion and be the man. All right. So again, I'm glad I'm doing this podcast because I'm having fun until I start getting guests on. For right now, I'm just trying to be consistent with this podcast thing. But if you like this podcast, if you laughed at this podcast, if you can relate to anything I said in this podcast, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you comment on the video, share the video. And I think this is episode number 2. I'm doing good so far, but I'm trying to make sure I keep this thing going consistent. 24, 25 minutes. We doing good, T-Bell. All right. Until the next time. I have been your man T Bell. Thank you for tuning in to the Man Trainer Podcast. Be blessed and go be great.
I had to do it again. Once that sun come up, hey, gotta get moving again. Hey, I had to do it again. Hey, I'm on a roll like a Benz. Hey, all I'ma do is I win. Hey, then I'ma do it again.